A little early, but it's not gonna hurt anybody. Y'all, I smoked it. How about you? How'd we do? What's up? It's good to see you, Brandon, JP, DJ, Josiah, and Dylan. Thanks for being here for the super early crew, or whatever. 184. Oh, L. Who hurt you? Who did it? Who did it? I will take it. Best of the year. 264. I'm back to playing my game, if you will. I got a little out of sorts for a couple weeks, chasing scores. But yeah, I've made my way to getting in the top 200 the last 2 years by playing it my way, and I went back to playing it my way and it worked. Oh my god, Michael 149, who hurt you? How was Thrasher's save, man? Lowest all year. That's bad, dude. Smith was hard. Smith was hard. LS, like, it definitely was. And when he went down, Rotowife, who had him, was like, I don't remember. She asked something, and I was like, he's still out there, probably because he knows that even if he picks up 2 or 3 more spots, that'll help him for the start. In the LCQ, just having a better gate pick, and obviously that would have worked out. But did anybody see anything? But I saw somebody said that he was pushing his bike off, so I don't know if he crashed and the bike broke or if he just had a straight mechanical. But either way, it might have been out of his control, which doesn't make it any easier for us. But who would have known that Jarrett Fry would be in the main event and Jordan Smith would not? But here we are. Oh man, Marchbanks and Mumford. Michael, that's harsh, man. That's harsh because those guys made the main too. At least Mumford only missed by a minute, right? He only missed by a point or two. How are the results up yet? Yes. So let's check it out. Mumphy. Yeah, man, that sucks. One spot off. Ouch. Gotta hurt. Needed Clayson finish. Matt, that's definitely a bummer. But I will say, I'm already gonna phone it in right now. My pick next week is Clayson and Bogle, baby. Forkner, he did, Muppet. He did do really well. Hold on, my cat's being a little shitter. I went with Forkner. I will say I did screw myself out of 6 points. I'm not complaining because my score was very good. I'm not mad about 264, but I will say screwed myself out of 6 points by tinkering because I had Swole and Blos, and at the last minute I took them off for Forkner and Oldenburg. My reason being, I was like, I just want 8 guys in. I 100% want 8 guys in. So I went with just literally all-stars. I replaced them both with all-stars with Forkner and Oldenburg. They should be all-stars, and is what it is. Hi, Kate. Jess, first off, she's a great cat. I just love that she's left me alone the whole day, and then as soon as I start talking to the computer screen, she's like, yeah! And I'm like, please not right now. I'm ready for MX. I'm not very good at outdoors. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not great at outdoors. I feel like my camera might be zoomed in a little bit, but we're just gonna run with it. It is what it is. I did so good in the 250s and only having 3. Jess, who hurt you in the 450s? I will say, I'll take this, man. I was in like 700th. I just halved my path to the top, so I'll take that. Let's go see how the admins did. Oh man, I caught up hard. Yeah, baby, look at that. 264. I gained 30 on Steve and 41 on Marks to put me in striking distance now on the admins. I'm now only 20. Man, I hate being behind Steve at all, if I'm being honest with you. 23 points behind Steve. I got him. Jed had a good comeback. He really did though, Muppet. Everybody, it was just a really good one. Can we just talk real quick about RJ Hampshire's penalty from the heat race? I would pull it back up, but the Peacock VOD is always a little bit delayed, so I won't get it in time. But you guys saw that, right? He got penalized 1 spot for cutting the track at the start. He easily passed 5 or 7 people in that moment, so I don't know how they only docked him 1. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect fantasy or anything. But when they were like, he's going to be docked, and I was like, yeah, that's valid. And then they said 1 position, and I was like, what? Because I thought the rule was it's how many spots you gain plus 1. But whatever. Doesn't matter. Jess, I looked at Tristan Lane, and I'll tell you guys what I was saying. Like, I looked at Tristan Lane, but when it came down to it, I was like, stop trying to get cute. I looked at Lane, I looked at Scherer, and I looked at Hand. But at the end, I was like, I did not look at Henry Miller. I'm not gonna lie, was never really on my radar. But I was like, no, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. I did swap. Brees was on my pre-team, and I swapped him for Freddie. And I'm glad I did that, obviously. But even then, Brees wouldn't have been that much bad. I don't play fantasy, just tune in. Muppet, I appreciate you being in here. We don't talk fantasy the whole time, but it is usually what everybody wants to filter in and do as soon as the race is over. Don't forget, who said it? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, to everybody that is coming in. If you're brand new, my name's Donnie. I do RotoMoto. This is my channel. I also do the social media for PulpMX Fantasy. So if you are talking to Pulp on Twitter or Instagram, that's me. I do the editing for the PulpMX show behind the scenes. Never been on the show or anything like that, but I do like some of the behind the scenes. I do all the thumbnail stuff like that. I just wanted one higher. Jess, that's what gets you. So wait, so you went Lane. Who was originally on your team that you swapped Lane in for? Because Lane's handicap was 13. So who did you have at a 12 that you wanted? Let me guess. Rod Bell? To be fair, Rod Bell didn't really help either, but it is what it is. Swap Morans for Scherer. LS, you had Morans and then went Scherer. To be fair, Scherer wasn't a bad pick. And I will just say, you guys probably, if you were watching the LCQ, you probably know what I mean. He did what you would expect. He rode a solid veteran race, and he didn't push it on Hand. He was just waiting for one of the guys in front of him to fall down. And any other day on a track that slick, somebody would have fallen down, whether it be Seven Deuce Deuce, Benny Bloss, or Jeremy Hand. And they just didn't. None of them fell down. It is what it is. What are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? So I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Moran's was 31st. It's weird because I did the same thing, LS, where I originally faded Brees because he qualified like 26, but he always qualifies like 26. There's just some of those guys. That do that. So I got some stats for you guys for fantasy before we get on. Mark's text messages me some stats from the background. So how many people do you think guessed Joe Shimoda for FFL? Does anybody want to guess? Obviously it's 0.1%. Does anybody want to guess how many people that was? Literally three people. I just want to know what those three people like, what are those three people doing? Like, come on, man. 3 people picked Joe Shimoda. 195 people had Barsha, which is not necessarily a bad pick. Average score is 187, obviously. We had 7,774 players that paid to be in the championship league. But one thing that I always bring up is the median score. I use median score instead of average because average can be a little misleading because there are people that specifically try to do bad or whatever. Median score 189. So if you scored 190 or more, you did better than half the paying field. 26% of teams had 8 riders. Only 26%. So just think, for all of you guys that went a little deep, you went a little swingy. If you would have just played it safe, 26 like only 1 out of every 4 teams had 4 or all 8 riders. So that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous number. Had Barsha for FFL. MX, props to you. I didn't pick it at all because I'm not a he's due kind of person. I respect those that are like, oh, well, they've done this or that, and, well, it's their time or whatever. I'm a numbers person, and for me, I'm like, nah. I don't know what I'm doing. God, Michael, are you upset that we don't have the actual Marty clip from that? Like, don't get me wrong, Steve's impression of him is also fantastic, but I wish we had the actual Marty audio for that. Would have been really cool to see. So, Is anybody within striking distance of getting in the top 100? 35-17, it looks like, is what you're going to need to get into the top 100. And I'm 35-17. I'm only, oh, that's always so frustrating. I don't think people realize how tight the points are. Because if you look at it this way, I'm only what 78 points away from the top 100, and it's easy enough to say that's just 2 or 3 riders. It's 2 or 3 riders. That's it. Is that what happened, Jake? Was Alv's bike? Somebody said, was it A-Ray that said that there's a bike literally just laying in the middle of the track? And man, that sucks for him. He's a good guy. How was Rut? I don't mind Rut, man. I don't know why. Like, obviously y'all do your thing. Y'all do your thing. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life. But I'm so shocked that people hate him. And I don't understand. Like, I get it because maybe you didn't like, you don't like that he doesn't know every rider in history because he didn't know who DV was, right? That was like his big thing. I don't know, like, do you think Lee knows who DV is? Do you think Lee knew who DV was 2 years ago when he started in Supercross? It is what it is. I just thought, I feel like that guy gets a little too harsh. You can dislike it. You can not like him, but I don't think you should dislike him. You know what I mean? God, poor Phil. Poor Phil. I had the pleasure of talking to Phil after the race last weekend, and he was just in such a good mood, man. And what a bummer. Broken arm. Just absolute bummer. This is what he gets for racing Death Cross, though. This is what happens. You don't have enough lives. He doesn't have enough lives left. Hopefully he'll be able to be ready for outdoors. At least it happened now and not in like 3 or 4 weeks. Because, I mean, a broken arm is still nothing ridiculous, but he's got what, 5-6 weeks into outdoors? I think we're at 5 or 6 weeks right now, so hopefully we can be able to see him back. Last year his shtick was just over the top, I think, and maybe that might be what NBC wants of him. You know what I mean? It's really interesting to me that people thought he was really over the top, and people also think Joseph Allen's really over the top, but people don't like Joseph, but people hate Rutledge, and I don't know. It is what it is. Kristen's doing a really good job, though. I'm happy for Kristen. I could take her or leave Will. Nothing wrong with Will. I could just take her or leave her. That's really all I got. What an absolute no, Vic. No. Oh, harsh, dude. I'm sorry. Hey, Eli just has to make the main to get the title. Is that where we're at now? Let's go check it out. Let me pull it up and we'll look. Yeah, 53 points. 53 points. Wow. Well, I mean, he has to make the main in 2 of them. But he's getting close. We're getting there. I just like everyone. Same. Phil died in front of me. Oh, man, Michael. It's always the worst when you see them get up and then they kind of fall back down, and like he grabbed his arm or whatever, and you're like, oh man, because it's always that little bit of delayed action, and it sucks so bad. So what are we at for the other 2? The 250 title. I'm gonna zoom it in a little bit so we can actually see it here. So you know one thing that I wish we would do. Do you guys enjoy having 2 East-Wests, or did you like it better when we only had the one at the finale? My one major problem with having 2 East-West showdowns is the West gets 10 races and the East only gets 9. So it's just not fair kind of thing. Like, obviously it's not fair, but like I liked it better when they had equal number of races, so you could reasonably put both of the regions together and kind of score them against each other to see who did better. But it's literally not fair. Like Hunter's beating Jet because he just has a whole extra race. Even though we got 18th in that race, he has a whole race. So like Craig being on the West, unless he puts in a total stinker or two, he's gonna have the most points. So I kind of wish it was just one. It kind of the whole point of them only doing it one was one. You know what I mean? Better with two since it gives championship more of a chase with the point separation. Yeah, I don't know, Vic, because I agree, but I feel like it never actually plays out like that, you know? Technically, Jet won the East. There's still 2 to go, though. There's still 2 to go. Jet could DNF both of them, and RJ, because RJ's maximum points is what? 170, 174. So not quite. But yeah. But not quite. But yeah, he can definitely clinch it here. Can we get oh, Jet won the East. I get you, yeah. Yeah, Jet won the East tonight. But yeah, as far as separation goes, Vic, it's almost the exact opposite. Where there was actually less separation for the East Coast because Lawrence maxed out at 21. It is what it is. Volan panic button, add a key? I don't think so. I mean, like, obviously this sucks, but when I saw that he was in the overflow, which is where he belongs because he's not in the top 20 points, it's literally the rules, I was like, he's probably not going to make it in. He's not going to make it in because those, the track just literally wasn't raceable yet. It was so sloppy and wet, and then he went down, and I was like, there's no way he's making it in. Now, that being said, I don't think he should have been 5 seconds off Alves. That's not good. That's not a good look. But again, if his bike was a little bit twisted, we saw where Pierce Brown was with twisted bars, and I didn't get to see Volan's bike. So, I mean, it's obviously not good. It's not good, but I wouldn't go as far as saying panic button because he was set up for failure today. Previous worst was 195. Tim, who hurt you? Who hurt you? Can we go back to the stadium? God, Cody, I wish, man. I wish. I mean, does anybody want to sponsor my trip to Denver? I'll go. I will go. I just can't justify. I mean, even going to St. Louis, which is within driving distance, it's just very expensive. I'm not cut out for it, man. We need more sponsors. Tell all your friends. Call your local favorite gear company, and you tell them to get on the RotoMoto show. I'd prefer just one East-West. If they did 2, make one a Triple Crown. That could be interesting reference. I would be down with a Triple Crown. I do think if we're going to keep the Atlanta Motor Speedway on the if we're going to keep the Atlanta Motor Speedway on the docket, on the schedule, we should definitely use either Daytona or Atlanta as a Triple Crown because there's so much more racing from the top guys, which has been a problem. Obviously, we didn't really get to talk about it because in St. Louis was so cool. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed doing St. Louis, but being down in the pits and talking to people, we didn't get to have our normal after show. But man, those tracks are just absolutely deteriorated. They know that. They know when they build them and design them. We can't put Triple Crowns in these stadiums in the Midwest, these little football stadiums like Indianapolis and like St. Louis and Detroit and things like that. We can't do it. We got to do something else. So, you guys missing the main by 1 spot hurts more than them just crashing out. Oh, for sure, yeah. Jordan Smith, Drake, and Mumford. Ew. I'm so sorry, Tim. But hey, Mumford still got you 12. It does suck. What did Drake end up? Because he was now down near the bottom, right? No, he didn't do that bad. 16. Okay, I know that's not what you want, but that's not that bad. Bad points night. It really is. You know the one thing, Atiki, that I'm glad I didn't take him? Let's go look at the points. Is he going to be worth double points next week? No. Oh, no, because Phil got hurt. Well, no, and Jace Owen, too. I was going to say, it's technically possible that Jordan Smith could have maybe gotten past, but not quite. If Phil would have been able to stay up, maybe. 450K to my risky pick was Scherer. And I'm obviously not being super critical of you guys picking him, but the one thing that scared me away from Scherer is you got to remember that he literally has no reason to go out and do it. He has no reason to go out there and race. He's doing it for fun. The team wanted to field 10 riders. He's really excited to go out and get the opportunity, but he's not going to He's not going to go out there and kill himself to make a main because he's got a job to do back at the racetrack, like back at club. So that was something that I'm always a little, on the other hand, you could say, yeah, but that means there's no pressure, but I don't know. I don't think it's like that. You know what I mean? Hey, Patty, hi. Any news? Broken arm. Broken left arm, I believe. I don't know the extent of broken, like how broken, but broken arm is the diagnosis. He doesn't quit. Well, and that's the thing, Vic, is that he did the perfect thing, I think, any other week, especially with it being as slick as it was. He's a veteran. He's in the LCQ. He literally, he made a mistake. He fell back, and he literally just stayed right behind Hand, and he was just like between Benny, Deuce, and Hand. He just needed one of those guys to make a mistake, and he was right there. And then once it became one lap to go, he started pushing to try to get Hand. He rode extremely smart. He did everything he needed to do in that position to ride smart and not go for broke. And it just didn't work out this time. Any other night, one of those guys would have fallen. Got sucked in. Oh, yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. Like, he's a good racer. He's a good racer. He's good at outdoors. I definitely think he's more of an outdoor guy than Supercross. But, I mean, he has a national number. This isn't like it's some chump showing up trying to qualify off the couch. But yeah, just bad luck all around. So with Phil, well, obviously Phil having a broken arm, he's gonna miss next round, which sucks so bad, man. Because look, man, Phil was going for top 10 in points too. Now there's no chance he hits it. But with that being said, now Jace Owen is an all-star. How many of you guys specifically picked West Coast riders so you could have everybody open for you East Coast next time? You should be critical of me. I know better, and I still picked him. Okay, well, I'm being specifically only critical of Mikey right here. Just this once. How about that? How about the track turnaround? Amazing from seeing people's Insta stories. Yeah, Steak. Yeah, man. Also, congrats. Did you end up top 100? There were just standing water. Did you guys see Dirtworks posted it up? Let me see if I can get it pulled up on Instagram. Dirtworks Corey posted up on Instagram from this morning, and it was literal just standing water. It's hard to believe that this was at 10 a.m. They turned it around, no problem. Oh, I'm not picking Smith ever again. Smith is my JT's Jerry. God, Jerry. Oh, man. And that's the thing is that I knew a lot of people were going to go Smith because he had that big lofty handicap, and RotoWife went Smith. And again, I don't think it's a bad pick at all. It's just one of those things. Man. It's going to happen a little bit, my biggest fear was, and this is kind of what happened to him in the heat race, is I wanted to pick guys that if they went down in the first turn in the heat, I reasonably thought they could catch up and get out of the heat. And that's why I went Thrasher, Hunter, Faulkner, and Oldenburg as my whole team. I took a total all-star team. There's legit dust. Yeah, Vic. Yeah, it's honestly bonkers. Went West Coast heavy so I could pick Oldenburg next week. If Oldenburg would have been worth double, I might have done that. But how many of you guys took Faulkner? I didn't love the pick. But my thing is I didn't think there was any use in saving Faulkner for next week, because if he was a -2 against both coasts, he's going to be like a -4 next week, and there's literally no chance I'm taking him at a -4. You know what I mean? So my thing was, I was like, I want 8 in the main, and to me, I was like, there's literally no way Faulkner misses the main. And I think he only ended up scoring, 26, 28 points? Yeah, 28. But I mean, there for a while he was on the podium, which I would have looked like a genius there, but I didn't love anybody else. I would have taken Pierce Brown, but I had him last week, so I couldn't. No chance was I looking at Alves, Park, and Fry. No chance. No chance was I looking at Munoz or Drake. Couldn't have Pierce. So yeah, my options were literally Swole, Blos, and Faulkner. So yeah, he is tough. He is, for sure. He's sure. haven't watched yet, but I wanted to come on for a minute and like the video. Yo, Sleep, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Good. It was a good racing. Very slick track. A lot of people went down. No big, you know, nothing's going to be super decided by crash, but it'll be a very enjoyable race. You'll like it. I have never picked Smith because he goes down so much. Yeah, Tim. Well, that's why I don't pick RJ. I do not pick RJ Hampshire. RJ Hampshire wrecks every race. I swear he wrecks every single race. And then I love the one time that he got the whole shot and he didn't wreck was when Phil was right behind him. Because could you have imagined if Phil would have won the main last weekend, how cool that would have been? Oh my God, that would have been just absolutely incredible. But yeah, Troll getting 12th place. I was really hoping he was going to do a top 10. I think if he would have, I mean, hell, whole shotting that heat race, he led a lap and a half or something like that. And you could tell he was feeling it. You could just tell by his body language, just the way he was railing the berms and everything, that he was having a good time. It was rad. It was really cool to see. How many of you guys were able to tune in? How many of you guys were able to tune in last week in St. Louis when I did it from the pits? Did you guys like that? I would love to do it every week, but I just don't know if it's... My biggest thing is I don't think I need to be at the race every week. I don't think it's really that valuable for me. A lot of people are critical about the media guys. They just go to the races and hang out. But if I'm being honest, there's not a lot we can do a lot of the time. There's just not a lot we can do. I went down and went down to the pits all over and over again. Like I kept going down to the pits, kept going down to the pits, kept going down to the pits. And there just was nothing to see there, especially from noon to 6 when all of the pit is open to the public. There's just so many people that like the riders were all, you know, in their trucks kind of staying away and blah, blah, blah. And it just, I just, there's not a lot for the media to do during the day. It's really Friday for press day, and then after the race is the only real thing that I can do there. You know what I mean? Sometimes the service is weak. Yeah, Vic, that's the one thing, because we tried to do it at Indy, and the problem was Indy's pits are outdoors, and the entire parking funnels right next to the pits on the way to the freeway, and I think that everybody getting on their phone murdered my service, so I couldn't get any service out at all. But St. Louis felt like it wasn't so bad, you know? I'm done picking Marchbanks. I ruined his races. Bless you, Trees. I appreciate it. I will pick him. Thoughts of them tuning in on Jet. Oh, you mean like after the heat? Dude, that was amazing. I absolutely loved that. That was so cool. I think they should do that all the time. I think we need to do more. We need to do more of that, man. Mic people up, you know, like we already saw AJ Catanzaro do the miking up during practice and just talking his way through it. If we have the capability of doing this, we should do it. I also understand that maybe a lot of these riders and teams might not want to have a camera and microphone in their pit between the races or whatever, but I thought it was really cool and I would love to see more of it. It'd be really cool being able to hear what Jet's mechanic said to him on the line. I thought that was really neat too. Like those kind of insights are really cool. Super underrated. This traffic sucks. Michael, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Got to get this national number. Vic, how close are you? What are you at right now? Do you guys pick FFLs as a general rule, or do you kind of not? I'm not a big FFL guy. I definitely dig it, but at the same time, I'm over the total gobbling of Jet. Steak, I'm just trying to think of... It's hard for me now that I'm kind of transitioning into a media role because I will always be a fan first. But for me, I'm with you. It'd be different if he was unlikable. I think it'd be a lot worse if he was unlikable. You know what I mean? But I think it's funny all of the other things that people will excuse because it's for the good of growing the sport. And then they don't, and then this, they're like, but not that though. But not Jet. Not enough Jet. Let's dial it back on Jet. If it's gonna grow the sport, if he's the future of the sport, I'm in. Bring in the new blood, bring in the people, let's make this thing big. What do we gotta do to get you playing bikes? Smokey, I'm on bikes. I'm just not good. I'm not good. I have like I don't even know, like a 114 maybe on Forest. I have other tracks, but that's the only one I know my lap time on because I try to play Forest every day, like just a couple laps when I warm up to kind of try to gauge how much better I'm getting. 250, no 450. We don't do that business. I'm not good, but I started playing last month. It's good to see you in here, by the way. I've only picked one non-Triple Crown FFL this year. Did you get it, though? I wish they would do more inside the pits like GP does. We definitely need to work on the format. I'm not a big Triple Crown fan. I've been pretty vocal about that on Twitter and stuff, but we do need to do more. I think I agree than just what we're doing, the bare minimum. Again, I know that that most of the people that like motocross are core fans. We ride ourselves, or we grew up riding, or we grew up racing, or whatever. Like there are not as many casual people out here. Like, I understand that, but we need to do something, anything to get a little bit more of the outsider. And the way we do that is by being more influencers. Like, I think the reason that you guys come here and watch me and follow me and do this is because I'm more of a personality than the average person. And obviously I don't mean like anything ill intent to like the other media places, but I've seen a lot of other ones where they just kind of throw up a logo and then they never become personable. But I want to be personable with you guys, and I think that could be what we need the writers to do too. You know what I mean? 2 words, Rutledge Wood. Steak, I was just shocked to see him. I don't hate Rutledge Wood. He's a professional, just like Lee Diffie is. And if NBC and Peacock and whatever thinks that having him on the broadcast will appeal to the more casual fans, man, I don't care. I don't think he's any, like, the DV incident aside, I don't think he is any less deserving to be there than Will and Lee and Joseph Allen and Kristen and all of them. It is what it is. If they think it's worth it, then good. Because let's be honest, they should be making decisions based on what we want, because we're not leaving. All we do is complain, and we're still here every weekend. So it is what it is. Found your channel a few weeks ago. You have great insight, updates, and a channel. I'm excited to see your channel grow. Thanks for the news updates. Saves me time. Husky, absolutely, I appreciate you for joining in. That's what I want. That's what I wanted to do is, no offense to the Pulp Show, because I work with those guys, but not everybody has the time to sit through all of that. And I mean, let's 2022. I don't want to read stories on a website. I don't want to have to go to a website. I want the algorithm to feed me the news. So I'm glad that it's appreciated. Any word on the new rule? I haven't seen anything yet. No. I wouldn't be surprised if they have it. I hope they don't, though. I don't know. If anything, and this might make me sound shitty, but if anything, I feel like I would rather them make the rule now for the future. I don't think it's fair to make the rule now and Justin get to benefit from it. Does that make sense? That's really not fair. But whatever, I don't make the rules. Last week was fantastic. Graham, thank you. The pits was really cool. I wish I could do the pits. Like I said, I wish I could do the pits every week, but traveling is expensive. I looked it up, and like I thought about Denver, and for me, I was like, Denver, it at very minimum, it would be $500, like red eye. Like, I'm flying there, get there Friday morning, do press day, sleep, wake up, do the race, fly home that day, like a 36-hour stay in Denver, and I'd be looking at $500 or $600. And it's just really hard to justify because I won't make any money while I'm there. You know what I mean? And it's not a vacation; it's working. I'd be flying there to work and be bringing home negative $600. So, like I said, if you guys know anybody that wants to sponsor the show or the live after show or whatever, you let me know. Yeah, Colt has to move, and there's nothing that Colt's going to get to do, Vic, because apparently what they're trying to do is, the rule they're trying to alter is you are allowed to make a title defense, and that means that Colt technically did make a title defense. He just crashed in the first race, but Cooper never got to make the title defense. So all they're going to do, if they do it at all, is they're going to just modify the wording to say, you have, instead of saying like you can defend next year, it's going to say you have 1 year to defend. But then my problem is, Vic, is imagine a scenario where they say you have 1 year to defend, and you don't, you move up immediately. Like, let's say Jet wins this year and moves up next year. Could he come back 5 years later and defend his title? Like, you know what I mean? Like, then it's going to get a little fishy. So I hope if they do reword this rule, they get it right. You know what I mean? Like, right this time. So we'll see. Denver to cover the Masters race. And Graham, that I want to, and I, like, you know, no offense to the Pulp guys, because like I said, I work with them, but I feel like I know a way to make the Mathis race happen for television, but I don't want to put it all on my shoulders to make it happen. National number lost after 3 years, though. All cards off the table. There you go. There you go. There you go. But yeah, I would love to be there for the Mathis race, because that's actually going to happen on Friday. That's going to happen on press day. So I would be able to be there. But even then, I wonder if they would rather me be here and then I could edit it quickly. Let me be honest, I'm probably going to have to end up editing that somehow. I don't really want to, but that's probably where we're going to end up being. So, hey, little thing, for anybody there, did anybody happen to watch the Catanzaro Steinke fight? Not like fist fight, but like race, because I don't know if you guys saw it, but they both raced 125s. And at first I was like, they're probably not going to make the night show, but then they both did qualify. So then they were racing the LCQ. Like, it was literally supposed to be a like Stank versus Cat race, and they ended up finishing one spot away in the LCQ. And I was wondering if anybody, they never showed it on TV or anything. They only showed the stupid burnout at the end. Not that I wanted them to take away from transfer position, but I hope that at least Cat or Stank or whatever, they do some vlog type stuff, because it'd be cool to see who won. You know what I mean? Like, how close was the race? Were they actually dicing? Because that would have been really cool to see, you know, two 125s dicing through that track. Ask Lego for a sponsor. God, could you imagine? Could you imagine, Muppet? That would be pretty tight. That would be pretty tight to get a Lego sponsorship. But we have O'Neill and OGO. They sponsor the Sunday video. They alternate. So this month is O'Neill and next month we'll be back to OGO. But for any other video, like the injury report videos and the live show and stuff like that, we have no sponsors on it. So AJ and Stank did not get enough coverage. Was so fun to hear them after the race ended. Yeah. And like I said, Racer, I'm glad, you know, no offense to those guys, but like, we complain every other time when they show stuff that is not relevant to like the finish. We're not showing the battle for third and fourth or whatever. So I'm glad they didn't cut away too much, because the battle in those LCQs was good, but I was a little disappointed they didn't at least point it out at some point. You know what I mean? Mikey, I appreciate you being here, dude. Have a good rest of your day. We'll catch up with you next weekend. The crowd loves Stank and Cat. Good. I'm glad, Mike. I'm glad that it went well. I seen a Lego 1 Formula car. Yeah, Muppet. They did build. Was it Lando? I think it was Lando Norris's car. I could not build a Lego car of a dirt bike. That's something that I think would be way out of my realm of dexterity and artisticness. Wonder how Hunter's feeling. Keith, apparently he's feeling pretty good if he won the race, so give him props for that. That crash was pretty gnarly. I don't think the videos did it any justice. Obviously I wasn't there, but I just feel like it was much worse than it was looking. I saw a lot of people pushed back in the YouTube comments about them changing the track, and I'm in full support of them changing that jump. It wasn't the distance, and that's what everybody doesn't understand. Like, a lot of the people in the comments I saw on Twitter were like, oh, it was the coolest obstacle, but like, you guys saw it, man. Go back and watch Vital, Motocross Action, and Swap, I think, were the three that had a good amount of footage of that jump. The landing, you had about a bike length and a half to place your bike. Otherwise, you were coming up a little short, or you were landing into flat, and that's just not safe. And a lot of people were like, well, then just don't hit it. But it's not that easy. Like, if one person hits it, and it's not a confidence level. Like, obviously, a lot of guys were hitting it the whole day. People were hitting it. But if somebody comes up short once, like Hunter did, and he crashes, and then you've got 7 other guys that are already in the air, and they literally can't do anything. They're in, because if you're already in the air, because the hang time on that jump was like 4 seconds, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? It would have been a massacre at the end of that jump. So I'm kind of glad they took it out. Do you know what Jet needs to place? Yeah, absolutely. So he is up by 47 points. So in Foxborough, if he beats, he needs to get like 17th place, right? 18th place. Yeah, 18th place because he would win the tiebreaker on wins. 18th place for Jet. Justin Bogle was going off on Twitter. Dude, I love Justin. Can we just say really quick? I know a lot of people say like, oh, Justin needs to be out of the sport and Justin doesn't deserve his ride and blah, 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 blah. Man, Justin is one of the realest people. If you heard him on the Pulp Show when he got into it with Bogle, was that like round 3 of the season? Or I was able to talk to him in the pits. And I mean, man, he talked to me forever, dude. I think he was my longest interview of the night. He just kept talking. He just keeps it real. And it might be because he knows that he's kind of near the end of his career and he no longer has to mince words in hopes of getting a ride next year or something like that. He keeps it real, and I love that for him. You know what I mean? The same argument can be made about the over-under bridges. They're blind and Flagger can't see. Agreed, Vic. Agreed 100%. Because that happened today. But I think the difference is that you can roll that. You could roll the tunnel jump. You can see before you reach the top of it, you can maybe see something. But I think the difference is if you jumped over the tunnel jump and there was something at the bottom, you're only going like 15 miles an hour, not 50. You know what I mean? So we'll see. What does RJ need? Oh man, RJ needs to win out and he needs Jet to finish in 20th place or worse in both of the last 2 races. That's the only shot he has. Because RJ at this point, his maximum score is 174. And Jet already has 169. So it does not look good. It's Jet's title to lose as long as he doesn't break his arm or something in the next race. Thrasher on a 2-year deal. Atiki, that's a good question. I actually don't know. I don't know what the status is of Thrasher's contract. So that's an interesting thing to bring up, but I'm not really positive. I wish we knew stuff like that. Like other sports, I wish we knew the actual things, but instead we're all kind of guessing based on what we've heard here and there. Who ended up having the highest score? Championship. 286. Ginger Snap Racing. Oldenburg, Thrasher, Joe. Wait, Joe was worth double points? Oops. Henry Miller, of course. Henry Miller, Noren, Amart. Good team. Good team. None of this is Sendy. Like, Henry Miller's a risky pick. I think this is what a lot of people miss, is that a lot of people think if you want to win a jersey, you've got to send it. But like, look at this. Look at these handicaps. Was it a 1? A 1? I think Shimoda was was Shimoda a -1? Yeah, Shimoda's a -1. 1, -1, 2. 6, 8, 16. Thanks for the answers, of course. Where do you see Craig going? Craig is going to Rockstar Husky. That apparently is a done deal, LS, and I believe it's a 2-year deal. I'm not 100% sure on the 2-year deal, but I'm pretty sure it's a 2-year deal. But that's inked. It's not been announced, but my sources say, and by my sources I mean Steve. That is a done deal, and Blair kind of confirmed it on his Instagram. How long ago was that? It might have been on a story, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, it must have been on a story. But he said now that it's a done deal. Yeah, must have been on a story. So either way, Blair did corroborate it. That oh, you know what? I bet it was on the main event moto page. I bet that's what it was. Yeah, well, since it's kind of out there now, Craig will be heading to Rockstar Husqvarna on a multiple-year deal. So there you go. There you go. Is Webb staying at KTM? I don't think I could see him leaving, if I'm being honest. I don't have any information for you, Racer, but I just don't see him leaving right now. I know that you might be like, oh, well, he might not like the bike or whatever, but I think that he's too comfortable with the program. I mean, to be fair, let's be honest. He did try to shake up his program this year by leaving out and going to burner, and it did not work out. So I feel like where the other guys like Tomac and Anderson and Malcolm have been rejuvenated by going to another team, I think Webb might be scared off from that by being like, I tried to stray a little bit from my he strayed a little bit from what he knew, and it actually hurt him. So, and then he went back. So I honestly think we will see him at KTM again. I think we'll see Roczen at Honda next year. Maybe Supercross only. Honestly, probably Supercross only. Gas adds another 450 rider. Reference, I would like to see Gas add another one. Well, I mean, and what's interesting, Reference, is maybe I don't think Marv, because if I'm being honest, I think Marv will retire rather than leave Red Bull. He's been with Red Bull KTM his entire career in the US and most, if not all, of his career in Europe. And I just don't think he wants to leave that spot. But I will say it is weird, Reference, that Red Bull added a third rider rather than just giving Gas a second rider, right? But who knows, because it is the Troy Lee Designs Gas team, and Troy himself is very involved in the team. They obviously are getting factory support, but maybe they are a privately owned factory support. I don't really know the details of it, but it definitely feels like there's something different about the Gas team, and that's why they only have, the one 450 rider. But personally, if it's me, I really wish we could see kind of the F1 model of let's do teams. And imagine then the teams would have a legitimate reason to do fill-in jobs. I would love it if Gas, move Marv to Gas, let's say, and then you could have a legitimate Constructors Championship of, AC and Anderson versus Tomac Ferrandis versus Mookie Dean versus, well, now it'll be Mookie Christian Craig versus Webb and Plessinger. Like, that would be so incredible, even if it was only a 450 deal. And that would also work for teams like Moto Concepts, doing the 3 riders and the 2 are flipping coasts, because then you could still have it where it'd be Brayton on one bike, but then Oldenburg and Freezy would be like alternating bikes the other way. That'd be really, really cool, but will probably never happen. Do you think Suzuki comes around and makes a new model? No, Racer. My biggest problem is even if they did, let's say that they had a brand new electric start, they shave 10 pounds, they give electric start, blah, 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 blah. They go the Aston Martin route even, and maybe they do like Yamaha where the engine is like inverted. Like, let's say they totally copy Yamaha's power plant. Who runs the team? No, no offense against HEP, because obviously they've got guys finishing in the top 10 right now, but I don't think they add a new team, and I don't think that HEP is really ready. I don't think they are really ready to commit to Twisted Tea to be a factory ride. Does that make sense? Jai Roberts is looking fast. I have no idea who that is. What class are we talking? A legit team championship would be awesome. Right, Reference. It'd give you something extra to kind of root for and whatever. And it'd add that an extra little wrinkle, because if we look at it right now, and obviously right now doesn't matter because so many guys are hurt. But if you looked at it right now, like, yeah, Eli is way, way out in front, right? But imagine if there was still some title to contend with. Where if you had, let's say AC went out, then Kawasaki would feel obliged to bring somebody on to ride that bike. So then one of these guys, your Ryan Breeses, Starlings, Chizes, like, they would have gotten that ride at Kawasaki, because then there'd be something to play for, and it would have elevated everything up a little bit. Graham, Phil has a broken arm. I don't know beyond that. Like, I don't know how bad the break is, but broken arm is the latest on that. Oh man, yeah. SK, you know what's funny? I tweeted about it because on the Pulp Show this weekend, JT said Chase never tucks a wheel. Chase always obliterates himself. And I think this weekend, the whole reason Chase wrecked is he just wanted to prove to JT that he does know how to tuck a wheel. He does know how to fall over gracefully. He did it. It worked. It wasn't even that bad. So... Probably not. You know what's interesting, SK, because like you said that like he wrecked and went back to third. That's the first time, and I'm not saying ever, but that I can remember. That's the first time that I know of Sexton wrecking and getting back up, maybe ever. And he still came up to the podium. So if he could just find a way to turn those horrendous crashes into just little crashes, he could still somehow be in this title hunt, you know, but it is what it is, you know. Do you see the Lawrence brothers splitting up? 100% Racer. They're not going to both be able to be, they're not going to both race Honda, because as good as they both seem, there's no way in hell Chase Sexton is letting, or Honda's letting Chase Sexton go. So Jet is all but confirmed to take over Kenny's ride either 2023 or 2024. Personally, I think he should go outdoor 2023 and then start Supercross in 2024. But they're not going to have a ride for Hunter unless they want to go 3 bikes, and I don't necessarily think that's a good idea. Unless Honda is that. If they do, that just really shows you how committed Honda would be to the Lawrence brother hype machine, you know? What happened to Voland? Robert, he had the unfortunate circumstance of ending up in the overflow qualifying session, which they were the very first people to go out on the track, and it was a little sloppy. It never really dried up all day, but that first session was definitely slick and sloppy, and it was gonna be the slowest one all day. And he went down on like his first or second lap, and I don't know if he tweaked his bike or whatnot, but he just, when I saw he was in the overflow, I was already like, oh man, he's going to have a rough time getting it in to the night show. And then he went down, and I was like, he has no shot at getting into the night show. Now, that being said, he was 5 seconds off of the fastest in his session. That's not good. But again, if his bars were tweaked, or if his brake lever was bent, or just something stupid like that, that could have been enough to catch it off. So I'm not saying, I don't think you should hit the panic button yet until we go back east and he gets a proper heat race LCQ main against the East Coast to really measure him about. You know what I mean? You think Sexton gets in his own heads and blows the race? No, I don't think so, Zach. I just think this is how he rides. The thing is you look at Shimoda this year compared to last year, and you look at Sexton's 250 class. The problem is that these guys are so incredibly good at riding at 95%. And staying on 2 wheels. But if you want to be a champion, and I feel like Joe and Sexton are now at that point in their career where they're like, I need to take that next level to being a champion. And the difference from where they normally are, they're comfortable, to championship, it might only be this much in speed, but it's this much in risk. And I think this is just part of it. And they're young. I mean, Sexton's 22? If he debuted in 18, I think he was 18. So 23, maybe? Like, he's young. He's going to work it out. It took RC, 3 years to win a title, I think, right? It was his 3rd year that he finally beat Jeremy. So I'm not going to hold him to, if he keeps making the mistakes next year, then something needs to be, you know, done, I guess. Jai is going to ride for PRMX in the last rounds of Supercross. Do you know, Keith, when you say last rounds, like the East-West? Because we're down to just 1 round on each coast in the showdown. Is he a kid from Australia? Gotcha. Forkner and Jet like catching contact. Yeah, SK. I was like, they're pushing a little bit. Whispers on Nichols. Not anything. Nothing I've heard at all. I feel really bad for him because I feel like him getting hurt really hurt his stock. If I'm being honest, I could see Star opening up a bike for him. Because I could see... Because Star ran 3 bikes last year, so we know they can. Eli has what, 1, maybe 2 years left in him. They want to hold on to Ferrandis because he's a title contender. Both of them are not young, remember. Ferrandis is just as old as those guys are. But I could see Star opening up a ride for Nichols, and then them going 3 bikes on his rookie season, and then that way when Eli inevitably retires, because I mean he's good enough to race till he's 35, but I just don't think he wants to. Why did Faulkner not run Jet off the track? Because that's just not how you race, David. I don't know. What I think that would be in very poor taste, considering that he's eliminated from contention and Jet's in a title hunt. I didn't know. Oh my God, Zach, you're right. I didn't hear a Musk situation. I wonder if he knew about it. I wonder if he knew about it. Did they shorten that triple? That's a good, Robert, probably a little bit of both, because yes, they did it yesterday, shortly after press day, and by that time, it was a foregone conclusion that we were going to get rain. So it was probably both, if we're being honest. Did you see that look over? Oh yeah, Tim. Oh yeah, Faulkner was like, you better get not even anywhere close to me. For the love of God, you get far away from me. I am not interested at all. Last round of Supercross. Okay, so he's going to try the East-West then, Keith. Like, he's going to try to... Can you even do that? I mean, I'm sure you can. You just ride for whichever coast you want. But I wonder if anybody has ever tried to line up for the East-West while not riding any East or West rounds. It's Jessica Cooper. So, reference, I don't know, man. I guess if they change the rules, it's probably because he couldn't find a ride. The thing is though, ref, is that do you really want to wait around a year? You know, if you're Cooper, because sure, he can race the 250s one more year, and that way he can avoid Craig and Nichols moving up. But next year, he could be against Faulkner and J-Mart and Jet and maybe Hunter. Next year's not going to be that much better to move up with. I don't think there's going to be any additional rides available next year. It obviously sucks for these guys to go out and win titles, but I hate that, and I think Craig is the one that's the most guilty of this. I hate that these guys are like so opposed to going to a Moto Concepts or an HEP. Like, those guys would love to have them, man. You don't think that HEP Suzuki or Moto Concepts wouldn't welcome a Justin Cooper, Colt Nichols, J-Mart with open arms? I get it, the factory dream, because that's it. Most guys have the luxury of moving from one factory bike to another, but I just don't think it's in the cards right now. I really don't. So, but we'll see. We'll find out. I think it'll be, you know, if one of those guys can contend for the outdoor title, maybe things will change. But Star also is running out of room. Like, well, obviously Craig's moving up, but they've got 3 or 4 amateurs that are ready to go, and who knows. Maybe Star doesn't want to have a 6-man 250 squad. That's just how it has to be. You know what I mean? So we'll find out. It's going to, but I haven't even heard much about the team he's in. Have you heard much on Team PRMX? Keith, all that I know, and obviously like no disrespect to the team because I don't know the things at all. What I know about about PRMX is a lot of riders leave that team. You know, there's probably a good reason that Logan Carnow started his own program, stuff like that. It's nothing bad against them. A lot of these smaller teams like PRMX, Tylube, Honda, etc., you know, they don't really pay as well. They don't really pay good. But if you want to be a rider and you don't want to be a business owner, an entrepreneur, and you don't want to run a race team, it's an option for you. I think their equipment is fine. I don't know what kind of infrastructure they have. They don't exactly run a tidy social media camp. Oh, the Hill PRMX ride. Yeah, good question. Good question. Word on the street is the entire reason O'Neill sponsored that team was for Hill, and then Hill didn't even end up racing on it. I don't know what happened. I mean, he got hurt. That did happen. I can confirm that he did get hurt in preseason, but then he just never lined up. And then how long ago was it that they posted up and they just said wish him the best? It's essentially what they said was wish him the best. Let me see if I can get it pulled up. Yeah, here was the press release in all its glory. Justin Hill will sit out the rest of the Supercross season. He's been taking time with his family to get back to 100% following the late practice crash where he suffered a serious shoulder injury. And I love this line of, we wish Justin all the best in his recovery and future. Literally means there was a separation. You don't wish somebody the best in their future if you intend to continue having a relationship with him. So PRMX and Justin are not, that feels not amicable. So Dan, who do you want to talk about? Dan, who do you want to talk about? Tell me who you want to talk about. Absolutely. We can talk about whoever you want. You just tell me. You just tell me who you want to talk about. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're 1 hour in and we haven't talked about what you want to talk about yet. So let's get it together. Absolutely. Who do you want to talk about? If Jet would have rode west, what do you think would have happened? Man, I don't even know. I don't know. I guess the problem would be is you could say, well, at least we'd have this really good battle with Craig and Jet, but at the same time, then we would just have what, RJ versus nobody on the East, because McAdoo's out, Faulkner's out. What's the points look like on that side? Yeah, we still would have had a lot. You know what I mean? Wouldn't have been a lot. Too bad we didn't get to see. Yeah, too bad we didn't get to see it. And we probably won't, you know what I mean? Because even when we go to the finale, these guys, yeah, they won't have anything on the line. Like that's one take to say is Craig will have the title wrapped up. Well, technically not. If Craig wins in Denver, he will officially wrap the title up for sure, no matter what. And Jet, all he has to do is get not 20th. So it's easy to say that in Salt Lake we might get the duel we're looking for, because then there's no how do I want to word it? There's nothing on the line. But then it's even worse, because then there's nothing on the line. These guys have their future. They're probably looking forward to outdoors. They're just going to go out there and spin the laps. You know what I mean? Steak, no, I didn't get a damn thing from Steve for show 500. Nope. I didn't get nothing. No homies hooked me up. No Chipotle lids signed by the king. Maybe show 1000. Maybe we'll get some show 1000. Speaking of, I actually, man, I will do it next week. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I meant to do it this week, but this early race goofed me up real bad. We have the 2 Wageman jerseys to give away for March. I didn't give them away last weekend because I was at the race, and this weekend because it's early. I just completely spaced on it, but I'll have those ready because I don't even have the drawing thing ready. But we'll do that, and then where do I have it? I see it. This month we've got Cade, 10th place Cade side plate from his career best. This was from Detroit. I was there. Cade is literally, I know you guys already probably know this, but Cade is like one of the coolest people. So he was really stoked to learn that I was giving away his number plate, considering that the other stuff we gave away was AC, Christian Craig, Wageman jerseys. I have some other stuff in the works, so he was really excited to be like in that group of people. So we'll have the Cade. The Cade one will be for April, and then I have some cool stuff. I have some cool stuff for May already in the works too. Who has the better stats? Keith, technically, I would say technically Jet, because they both have 4 wins. But Jet has 1 less race. That's what I would say. I would say Jet technically. You know what I mean? Not by a lot. How does Volan react? Oh man, L. I don't even know. That's a good question. Like, I just feel really bad for the kid because we need to stop doing this to people. You know what I mean? Like, he got hurt last year. He was too. It's weird that everybody says you're rushing him. He's too young. He shouldn't be out there. And then we put him out there, and then they're like, panic button, panic button. He should be cut. Give his ride to somebody else. And I'm like, you literally last year we were all saying they're rushing him to the class, and this year we're saying he should be burned at the stake. And it's like, come on, man, we can't have it both ways here. Like, give the kid a break. He's a teenager. It's his second year. It'd be different if he never showed any promise. Like, Fry really never showed anything on the Star Bike. But, last year, as a true rookie in his first 3 Supercrosses, he looked fine. He looked good. I think he went like 6th, 7th, and 8th or something like that. So we'll see. We'll figure it out. I just hope that I hope they're not already sharpening the executioner's axe. You know what I mean? Blair said that Roxon was going to come on Race Day Live. I didn't see him on there. Tim, I didn't either, but with that being said, since they abbreviated it to only 2 hours instead of 4, maybe they were going to push him back. I also feel like it'd be weird to see Roxon at Atlanta of all the races. I could see them bringing back Roxon for the finale maybe, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, it's 50-50 from what I hear, Atiki, that Hurling shows up. Cairoli also allegedly wants to come. If you guys watched the Bubba's World with Davey Coombs, who Davey Coombs is the owner of RacerX magazines and is also the promoter for ProMX or Pro Motocross Outdoors. They reserved his number. They reserved number 222 because Cairoli seemed very serious about doing it. So it would be really cool to see him. Points don't matter. Atlanta will be 250 race of the year. Really? You think Atlanta, this was the best race of the year? I didn't think it was a particularly good race. Like, Hunter Lawrence led the whole race. It wasn't like a bad one, but we haven't really have we had a signature 250 race yet this year? Because all of the big moments and big races I can think of, it wasn't because of battles. It was because of Freezy torpedoing Craig or Jet and Faulkner crossing lines. There weren't really any incredible 250 races, Ask, is it Midas tires to sponsor you? Only tires I use. I will get on the horn about it. Maybe we'll try it out. When Jet stops crashing, that's when boring racing starts. Yeah, that's fair, Dan. I will give him some leeway today because a lot of people went down today. Today was disgusting. That clay when it got wet was not good. Not good at all. He said that Roxon's people actually reached out to them to be on the show. Interesting, Tim. That's interesting. It's probably a good idea that he really needs to get ahead of all of this stuff, It's not going to do them any good to keep... I'm not saying he's hiding, but he's been pretty much MIA on social media from what I've seen. I haven't, and I respect the man's privacy. I don't think he needs to be on it all the time, but it's really disappointing when guys like AC and Roxon, who are big personalities in sport, when they do get injured or they need to miss time, all of a sudden, their social media just kind of dries up, So, but who knows? Maybe he was there and they just couldn't fit him in because of the abbreviated program or something like that. Courtney did post they would be Atlanta. Interesting. I wonder if something happened. Who knows? Was it on their story? Because yeah, now Courtney's most recent post is from January. Real thoughts? What are my real thoughts on Race Day Live? Man, it's not for me. It's not for us. That's really it. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks that it's not the pre-show that we wished it was. But you got to remember that it's for the arena. This stuff is literally made for the people that are in the arena as something to listen to while they're walking around the stands or there's no bikes on the track or whatever. We're just lucky enough to get to do it. That's why what's his name? He screams? What's his stupid name? Uh, Whatever. I don't remember. Whatever his stupid name is. Hubbard. Yeah, Hubbard. There you go. Um, that's why Hubbard does it, because he's the floor announcer. So that's why he does it, because that's why you hear him. But so yeah, it's not for us, but it never will be. If I'm being honest anymore, past like the first 2 or 3 races of the year, I put it on and I do some other work, and then and I'm listening, and then I'll glance over when they say something. You know what I mean? Yo, Reference, I appreciate you hanging out and being here, man. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next weekend. Best track layout this year? Oh, man, that's a good question. I absolutely do not. Tim, the only rider number I think I have is Grant Harlan. Uh, I normally Instagram or Twitter message people because I feel really weird. I don't want to be like, yeah, just text me, because I don't want them to think I'm being weird. Sorry, I have to pull up track maps so I can look at them. Um, like this one was neat. Honestly, I thought St. Louis was a really cool track. I enjoyed being able to watch it for in person. I'm a big I'm a big sucker for baseball stadiums though. So maybe Anaheim 3. I think Anaheim, no, Anaheim 1 was really cool. Yeah, Anaheim 1 was really neat. Anaheim 1 and Anaheim 3 were both pretty cool. High speed tracks are cool to see more of the outdoors vibe. Yeah, that's fair. I don't want too many of them though, because we do have an entire outdoor series. I think having 3 Atlantas in Daytona last year was too much. I don't mind having 2, but like I said earlier, if we're gonna do Atlanta Motor Speedway and the lap times are able to be a minute 30, a minute 40, let's make those triple crowns. Let's make one of the East West's triple crowns, because then we're not guaranteed, but we have a really, really good chance to get those battles that we so desperately want. You know what I mean? Imagine if we had 3 main event gate drops. Then we could then Craig and Jet would have got a good start on one of them, you'd think, right? So let's do that. Next year, let's make every Atlanta. The East Coast, West Coast showdown happens in Atlanta, and it happens in Salt Lake. And Salt Lake is traditional format, Atlanta is Triple Crown. And that way also both the 250 and both the coasts get 1.5 Triple Crowns to themselves. Like they both get 1 Triple Crown each, and then the East West is Triple Crown. That's what I would recommend, but nobody asks my opinion. So it is what it is. All right. I agree with that. Imagine ATO. Yeah, man, it'd be cool, Steak. I'm in for it. Sign me up. And make it earlier. Yeah, I would like to have it be more like round 9, I think. But I think the problem is, Steak, is beginning of March is Daytona, and Daytona has to happen during bike week or whatever, so it's not as flexible. And I don't necessarily want to have Daytona and Atlanta like back to back, because having those spread out works. But because it's outdoor and on the East Coast, you can't have it earlier. I would like it earlier, but I just don't know where you would stick it. We'll figure it out. Oh yeah, Envy. Supercross at nice, 100%. Please. Does anybody else just feel like, and I feel like as the season gets on, and I mean today, whatever, I know chat's a little bit slower today than it's been, but it's daytime on a Saturday. Those of you guys on the West Coast, it's like you guys have enough time to go out and ride your dirt bike still when the race ends. But I just woke up this morning and I wasn't excited. And I got on Twitter and I wasn't excited. And I got on Instagram and I got on Discord, and I just wasn't excited for the race today. It just sucks. Day races like this late in the season, I'm just not into it like I normally am. I didn't even really watch the 2 hours that we did get, you know? What it is. What is with a lot of riders not liking Triple Crowns? I watched your video when you interviewed the riders, but no rider explained the issue with it. Keith, I can give you a couple of the issues. One, they don't get paid in points or cash for any of the additional riding that they do. So, for example, if you're a 450 guy and you transfer straight out of the heat, you get 20-minute main plus 6, and then 2 laps. So 26 minutes plus 2. If you're doing Triple Crown, you're getting 36 minutes plus 3. But the other thing is that it's nonstop. They don't have really time to breathe, because you're doing like 12 minutes is a pretty long main. And then they've only got about 35, 40 minutes, and they've got to do it again. They've already got to get ready to do it again. And then they got to get ready to do it again. And this might not sound like much, but having the top factory guys spinning full, 30 and 36 minutes throughout the day beats down the track much, much more than having, the 40th best guy, the guys that are barely squeaking into the night show, that are kind of rolling around. The track gets more beat up, and the guys that make the Triple Crowns are racing so much more. It's just not, it doesn't benefit them at all. And even then, and this is why I don't like it for fantasy, like let's say somebody goes out and has the career best first race, right? Like Malcolm could win the first race of a Triple Crown, and it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. Then they just say, all right, neat, do it again. Cool, do it again. Like Cade could come out and get a 9th place finish in the first main, and all he gets when he goes back to the pits is great, do it again. So I could see why the competitors just don't really like it. You know what I mean? It's brutal having a 3-print. Marissa, I agree. And imagine how much worse it is, Marissa, for the people on the West Coast when Race Day Live was supposed to start at 6 a.m. No, thank you. I'm out. I wish. I'm doing yard work and my phone is in my pocket. I'm on the West Coast. God, that sounds so nice, Tim. That sounds so nice. It's 7:15 here and it's 53 degrees right now. Could be worse, but would like it to be better. Is what it is. The entire vibe was off. Yeah, and the entire vibe, and it is one of those where I will say the vibe of the entire sport kind of wanes and wanes and wanes as the season goes on. So every time we get to this about 13, 14, and especially because all 3 titles are foregone conclusions, the only chance that any of these titles get contested is if the guy leading it wrecks out. And they need to wreck out like now, like next round. Technically Anderson could clinch if Anderson gets dead last or DNQs next round, Tomac can clinch. Like it is technically possible for all 3 guys to clinch in their next race. So it's just a lot harder for people to get excited about like you did in January and February. And, maybe you would say, oh, but as we get closer to the finale, it's exciting. But the East-West, it gets kind of ruined because we just had one. So it's not even like, oh yeah, I know the titles are in hand, but we finally get to see what Craig and Jed are going to do. But we did see that. We already saw it, so. They loved every second, even though it was a long, long day. Good. Yeah, Rich, for sure. And being in person is a whole different world. It's fantastic to go in person. I'm glad that they got to go, and I hope that they want to go back. But yeah, watching it at home and doing the whole thing, we're all just so, like, the ritual of getting ready for Supercross just really lowers as the season goes on. So is Peacock done after Supercross? So yeah, Jason, Outdoor will not be on Peacock this year. I do not know about the future of Supercross. Somebody asked me that, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip your message. I just was answering another question, but I do not know where it's going to be. I have no information for you. I wouldn't be surprised to see it on MAV TV. I know that might not make a lot of people happy, but I would not be surprised to see it go over there. I know a lot of people are fearful because, oh, that's the wrong direction. in terms of there's less eyes on Mav than there is on Peacock, et cetera, et cetera. But I think it could be good to go to a dedicated racing service. We'll find out. We'll find out. I don't think it'll be as detrimental to the sport as people say, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see. Hey, if nothing else, if we leave Peacock, you know what that means, right? No more Rutledge. You guys get your wish. We'll lose Will Christian and Lee Diffie because those are NBC personalities. We'll keep Kristen Beat. We'll keep Ricky. And then if we go Mav TV, who knows? Maybe we get Weege up in the booth. Mav announced Supercross, Michael? When did Mav announce Supercross? Where's the announcement? It's where JP. I know we have it. I know we have it too well. Blair. I don't know why they don't want Blair in the booth. It literally baffles me. I just don't understand. But they clearly don't want Blair in the booth. But maybe it's Peacock that doesn't want Blair in full time. We'll find out. Tomac was set on getting by Anderson in the heat. Yeah. Well, Robert, I think that once Anderson stretched out 5 or 7 seconds, Tomac's smart, he's a veteran, he wants a title. Blair is a lot sometimes. Oh, for sure, Marissa, but he's not as bad as Todd. Hey, no offense to my boy Ralph. Love Ralph, but no, you can't say Blair's a lot and say Ralph is like calm. Like, Ralph has never been calm in his entire life. So if we're going if Ralph Shaheen is the bar, Blair is under the bar, you know? What do you think about AC and AP? I think AC I honestly legitimately think if AC can come in healthy, he can contend for the title because he was contending. He was the last guy contending for the title last year, right? What is it? AMA? It's American. God, I wish these websites would all get together. AmericanMotocrossResults.com is the website to get the results for outdoors, but Pro Motocross is the front page. It's annoying. But yeah, like AC. I think AC I think he was definitely in contention for the title until he got hurt. And then was it 2020? He was the last remaining person. He almost took it from Osborne. I should say Osborne almost threw it away. Yeah, AC only lost by 12 points. So I think AC could legitimately contend. I would take AC over AP for outdoors, Dan. I like AP a lot, but we haven't seen AP put together a full outdoor season in the 450 class anyway. We haven't seen AP really put together a full season in general on the 450. So at least we've seen AC show race winning speed, you know? Outdoor isn't likely. It's a bummer. I just hope that I don't know. I just hope that he gets to do one good year on a factory ride. I really do. And then Blair / Ricky / Diffie can keep his seat warm for the announcing, but it is what it is. Do we see the KTM improve for the outdoors? No. Steak, I don't think so. I don't really think so. I mean, sure, a little bit, but I think the biggest problem is we won't really be able to tell because Webb isn't exactly an outdoor wizard. And I think Marv is past his prime from an outdoor standpoint. So maybe, but I don't think we'll be able to really compare it to anything to really know. But I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you guys so much for coming and doing the after show with me. I tried to keep it under an hour. I need to start keeping it under an hour because I have other stuff I need to work on. I really need to get started on whatever video I'm going to make for tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching with me. I will see you guys next weekend. I will have a video up tomorrow, probably maybe Monday, some kind of recap from this weekend. And then I will see you guys during the race next weekend. And yeah, remember, tell your favorite company to sponsor the RotoMoto show, and maybe I can do another post race from the pits before the season ends. But you guys be good people. I'll see you next weekend. Later.